Good evening. Tonight's film is Psycho, a 1960 film directed by Hitchcock. It's based on a book, so you can watch the film and then you don't have to read the book, which is great. Bit of a warning, they kill off Jamie Lee Curtis's mum at the beginning, ripping off Scream by 30 years. Now, I prefer the remake over this, as it's in colour and you see Anne Heche's butthole. It's a very progressive film for its time, as it has a man in a dress, but it's not funny. So I recommend Psycho, if you can get it in colour. Thank you for watching. Here roundeth the lesson.
Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho dropped in 1960 and pretty much changed everything. Before Psycho, horror was castles and creatures. After Psycho, real-world danger, psychological horror, murder in the motel next door. The movie was the blueprint for the slasher genre. Some call it the grandfather of all slashers. Decades before we ever met Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, or Ghostface. But here it is, Psycho just isn't important, it's just really, really well made. From its tight direction to its unbelievable score, the film is a masterclass in doing more with less. Now let's talk Hitchcock. He was already a legend by 1960, and Psycho was him breaking all the rules. He used his TV crew from Alfred Hitchcock Presents, shot it in black and white to save money. He made it for under $1 million, and those limitations is what gave the film its style. The cinematography by John L. Russell is a perfect blend of light and shadows. It feels like noir colliding with horror. Every shot feels tight and boxed in, very claustrophobic, and a sense that you just can't escape, like something awful is ready to happen at any moment. One of my favorite shots and sequences is that Arbogast kill. When he's coming up the stairs, you feel that door swing open, and that's that overhead shot, right, of Mother coming out and that big effect where he's going down the stairs. He's just not flexing, you know, Hitchcock's not flexing. He's not just showing you the violence. He's making you feel all the fear. It's just fantastic stuff. And yeah, we have to talk about the house. You know the one, that big looming gothic thing up on the hill. It's not just a set, it's a complete character. That thing feels haunted even though the movie has no ghost. It's modeled after an old Victorian home, like something out of a forgotten past. But more than that, the house is a map of Norman's mind. If you look at the top floor, that's Mother's room. Frozen in time, the past. The middle floor is Norman's space where he does all his living, caught between guilt and denial. The basement, the subconscious, the darkness, where all the secrets are buried, including where he keeps Mother as a corpse. It's vertical storytelling. As the movie goes on, we go deeper and deeper into the madness of Norman Bates. You don't even have to really think about it. It's just the house is there and the house just feels off. You know, those black clouds coming in behind it. And that's the brilliance of Hitchcock. He's not like telling you anything, he's just showing you, letting the visuals do all the psychology. And then there's that haunting, beautiful score. Bernard Herrmann, just strings, that's all he used. But those sharp, shrieking violins, instant terror. You hear that sound, you know someone's about to get stabbed. The score is beautiful in so many ways too, like not just the shower sequence, but all the other stuff, the building of tension, when Marion goes to steal the money and it's just got that subtle, eerie kind of haunting music. I mean, you could do anything and it would work. And at first they weren't going to have any music for the shower scene. And when he was cutting it together, Hitchcock, he wasn't sure how this was going to work. And so Bernard Herrmann scored it anyway. And I think he gave him a raise or he gave him extra money or whatever because how well it worked. And it's a masterclass of a score, really. You know, because you got those shrieking violins when she's getting stabbed in the shower. The anxiety is just filling up in you. It's chaos with the knife going in her and all that kind of stuff. And then when she starts dying, it's dun 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 dun. She's sliding down the wall. That's Eventually, when the music stops, her heart stops. The life goes out of her body. Brilliant, man. Without Bernard Herrmann, I'm not sure Psycho would have hit the same way. That leads us right into the iconic shower scene. 78 camera angles, 52 cuts. But yeah, I mean, just and less than a minute long. No gore, no nudity, just sound, rhythm, and editing. It's one of the most famous scenes in film history, and it still works. It still holds up to me anyway. Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates, one of the best performances in horror history. He's polite, soft-spoken, a little awkward. You trust him until you don't.
People always call him Madhouse someplace, don't they? Put her in someplace.
And that's what makes him scary. He's not a monster, he's normal. And at any given time, Mother could surface. Janet Leigh as Marion Crane. She's amazing too. You feel her guilt, you feel her desperation.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Girl works for you for 10 years, you trust her. All right, yes, you better come over.
And right when you start to root for her, she gets killed. The twist hits like a truck in 1960. Killing off your lead 40 minutes in, nobody did that. Vera Miles and John Gavin are solid. They keep the plot moving, but they're not as memorable. Still, everyone plays their part in this slow descent into madness. Now, let's just stop for a second and talk about the most important scene in the movie for me, and that's the parlor scene. And it's just two people talking. No music, no murder, no jump scares, and it's pure cinema. One of the best scenes or conversations in cinema I think there is. Marion sits down with Norman. He has a sandwich for her. She's eating a sandwich. They're doing small talk. And the tension is just so thick here, and it rises. There are so many layers to this scene, and on the first layer, it's the dialogue. On the surface, it's polite small talk, but underneath, it's loaded with repression, guilt, and obsession. Norman says things like,
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
And you feel a chill, even though he's smiling. He starts talking about traps, how people can get stuck in their lives, unable to escape. He's not talking about Marion, he's talking about himself. He just doesn't realize it yet, or won't admit it. The second layer to this is all the visuals. Hitchcock shoots Norman in shadow, his eyes deep in shadow sockets, he's surrounded by taxidermy, all these lifeless stuffed birds just looming over him. Marion, on the other hand, is lit just more warmly, but as she begins to consider returning the money, her arc starts to redeem herself. Norman's arc darkens in contrast. Third layer is the subtext. The birds in the room aren't just creepy, they're symbolic. Predator birds like hawks are facing down toward Marion. Passive birds like owls are perched above Norman. It flips the predator-prey dynamic right in front of you. Norman even says,
We all go a little mad sometimes.
and somehow that conversation is scarier than any knife. It's really the scene where Norman stops being this shy caretaker and there's something more dangerous inside him. The movie doesn't tell you that, it shows you in words, in lighting, and even the walls. Now thematically, Psycho is rich. It's about duality, repression, guilt, madness hiding behind a smile. Norman isn't just a villain, he's a victim of trauma, of manipulation, of isolation. The movie asks, what happens when someone never gets to grow up?
Or do I have to tell her because you don't have the guts? Huh, boy? You have the guts, boy?
Shut up! Shut up!
And then there's the voyeurism angle too. Norman watching Marion, us watching Norman, Hitchcock watching us. He's always messing with the idea of audience and perspective. It's subtle, but smart. Psycho didn't just influence horror, it invented a whole subgenre. Without Psycho, there's no Halloween, there's no Friday the 13th, there's no Scream. It changed the way movies were made and marketed.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Halloween.
Hitchcock forced theaters to deny late arrivals. That alone reshaped how studios treated spoilers and twists.
No one will be admitted to the theater after the start of each performance of Psycho.
Even little things like showing a toilet flush on screen were scandalous at the time. It's wild how much of modern horror tracks back to this one movie in Psycho. Twist, the killer reveal, an isolated location, all traces back into the DNA of Psycho. Now, time for some light critique here. I love Psycho to the death, but the second half definitely dips in energy. It's not as interesting when we follow Vera Miles and John Gavin. I just don't find them as interesting of characters. The investigation stuff is interesting, but just doesn't hit on the same suspenseful notes as the rest of the movie. Anthony Perkins really does have to take the movie from that point and just put it on his back, so to speak, and he does a brilliant job with that. And the exposition dump at the end of the movie. This is where I hear the biggest complaints about the movie, that we didn't need all this exposition. We get what Norman's mental state was, and this is what they're doing. But the audiences of 1960, I think after that wild ride, would have needed something like that. Obviously now we've seen everything, we know a lot and everything like that, and you know, just the age and the times we live in now. It's so much different, but I kind of like it.
When he met your sister, he was touched by her, aroused by her. He wanted her. That set off the jealous mother, and mother killed the girl.
I'm one of the few people, I think, who kind of like that kind of explained to me. I just like the way it's all laid out before us. Even though we don't need it, I still kind of like it. Psycho is more than just a horror classic. It's a blueprint. It changed the way movies were shot, marketed, and scored. It's not flashy, it's not gory, it just sits with you and stays. On your next Saturday night movie night, you're looking for a psychological thriller, then turn to Psycho. Fantastic performances, an iconic death, and an absolute horror classic. I'm gonna give Psycho from 1960 a solid A. But what about you guys? What do you think of Psycho from 1960? Let me know in the comments. We'll have a great discussion on Psycho as always. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for spending time with me on this review. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you're new. Subscribe, like the video, as it does a lot for the channel. And my name is Jason. I am your host from Backtrack Cinema. I'll see you next time, and I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.